Hi students, how are you? Iniyam Manava Chalvangale Padichacha. So students, today I going to discuss microsporogenesis. So already I discussed microsporogenesis in the last class. Just revise that content microsporogenesis concept. Then I will explain types of the microsporogenesis. So microsporogenesis, sporogenous tissue. What is the location of the sporogenous tissue? Sporogenous tissue, it is present in the diploid condition. What is the location of sporogenous tissue? Diploid condition. So that is the sporogenous tissue is present in the middle of the microsporangium. Okay, so middle part of the microsporangium is the sporogenous tissue and diploid in condition. So again this sporogenous tissue, some of the cells present in the sporogenous tissue, they modified into the microspore mother cell. Microspore mother cell. So what is the ploidy of microspore mother cell? Diploid. So the microspore mother cell, it will undergoes the meiosis. Okay, what is the, how many cells produced by the process of meiosis? Yes, very good answer. By the process of the meiosis, it will produces 4 pollen grains. 4 pollen grains produced by the process of meiosis. So meiosis is responsible for the formation of 4 pollen grains. Okay, so 4 pollen grains produced. What is the ploidy of the pollen grains or microspores? 4 pollen grains. Otherwise, we can say this is the microspores. So how many microspores are pollen grains produced in this process? So that is 4 microspores or pollen grains is produced. So that is all the pollen grains or microspores is present in the haploid in condition. All the microspores or pollen grains present in the haploid condition. So this is process of formation of pollen grains or microspores is called microsporogenesis. So the microsporogenesis, it is classified into 2 types. Now I will explain about that types of the microsporogenesis. Types of microsporogenesis. Types of microsporogenesis. So there are 2 types of the microsporogenesis. So it is classified into 2 types. So basic process I explained already. So this is the first type is called successive type. And another one is called simultaneous type. This is 2 different processes. So successive type. What is the successive type? First meiosis 1. Meiosis 1 is followed by the cytokinesis. Meiosis 1 is followed by cytokinesis. Again, after that meiosis 2. Meiosis 2. After meiosis 2, then cytokinesis. Meiosis 1, cytokinesis. Again, meiosis 2, cytokinesis. So, how many cytokinesis is present in this process? So, 2 cytokinesis. Meiosis 1 is followed by 1 cytokinesis and meiosis 2 is followed by 1 cytokinesis. So this kind of process is present in the successive type of the microsporogenesis. So here successive type of the microsporogenesis, it will produce as a isobilateral pollen grains. So isobilateral pollen grains means like this. So one side 2 pollen grains and another side 2 pollen grains. So this is called isobilateral pollen grains. isobilateral pollen grains. Okay, so isobilateral pollen grains produced. Okay, so in the successive type of the cytokinesis. So isobilateral example. So what is the example of the isobilateral? So monocots is example for the isobilateral. Okay, monocots. And another one is called simultaneous cytokinesis. Simultaneous means here in simultaneous cytokinesis, first meiosis 1 is present. Okay, after meiosis 1 cytokinesis, after meiosis 1 meiosis 2 is present. Meiosis 2. After meiosis 2 cytokinesis is present. So this kind of cytokinesis is called advanced type. This is primitive type. So this is simultaneous cytokinesis is a primitive type, and this cytokinesis, like this successive type of the cytokinesis, is advanced type. So another name of the successive type, advanced type. This is advanced type. So advanced type of cytokinesis, that is successive type of microsporogenesis. So this is present in the monocots. So monocots is advanced plants, then compared to the dicots. And another thing, each meiosis division is followed by the cytokinesis. So meiosis 1 is followed by the cytokinesis. At the same time, meiosis 2 is also followed by the cytokinesis. So it will produce as a pollen grains. That pollen grains is isobilateral pollen grains. Isobilateral means left side 2 pollen grains and right side 2 pollen grains produced like this. So example, monocots. So again, simultaneous type of the cytokinesis. First meiosis 1 followed by, so meiosis 1 is followed by meiosis 2, and again meiosis 2 is followed by cytokinesis. So this cytokinesis, like it will show the cytokinesis, that is tetrahedral cytokinesis. Tetrahedral arrangement of the pollen grains. So what is the meaning of tetrahedral? So back side 1 pollen grain and front side 1 pollen grain. Okay, so upside 1 pollen grain and downside 1 pollen grain. Okay, so this is back side pollen grain, this is the front side pollen grain, this is upside pollen grain, and this is the downside pollen grain. So this kind of arrangement of the pollen grains is called tetrahedral arrangement. Tetrahedral arrangement of the pollen grains. So this tetrahedral arrangement of the pollen grains, it is present in the dicots. So simultaneous type is present in the dicot plants. Dicots. Okay, so this is about 2 types of the microsporogenesis. So in successive type, each meiotic division is followed by the cytokinesis, but in simultaneous type, after meiosis 2 only cytokinesis is present. So this kind of cytokinesis, it will produce as the pollen grains in the arrangement of tetrahedral arrangement. And example for the simultaneous cytokinesis, that is dicots. Okay, but here isobilateral pollen grains is produced by successive type of the cytokinesis, that is microsporogenesis. Okay, so this is the types of the microsporogenesis. So tetrahedral means like this. So 1 pollen grain upside, 1 pollen grain downside. So front side 1 pollen grain and back side 1 pollen grain. So this kind of arrangement is called tetrahedral arrangement. So tetrahedral arrangement is present in the dicots. So this is the primitive type of the microsporogenesis, and advanced type of the microsporogenesis is successive type, is the advanced type of the microsporogenesis. So this is about types of the microsporogenesis. So next I will explain another concept, that is dehiscence of anther. So anther, by the dehydration process, the anther was mature and dehydrate, and it leads to the dehiscence. What is the meaning of dehiscence? Breaking of the anther was, technically we will say, that is the dehiscence. So after formation of this microspore tetrad or pollen grain tetrad, after some time, what chance to happen for anther? So the anther first it will mature. Maturation in the anther. After maturation, the second point to dehydration of the anther. Dehydration. After dehydration of the anther was mature and dehydrate, and finally it leads to the dehiscence. Dehiscence of anther walls. So what is the meaning of dehiscence of anther walls? Dehiscence of anther walls means breaking of anther walls. Breaking of anther walls. So the anther was broken. So if the anther wall broken, then what chance to happen? It leads to the releasing pollen grains to the outside. So after breaking of anther walls, the pollen grains released into the outside. That is carried by the wind, insects, animals, different ways it is transferred into the female reproductive system, that is called stigma. Okay, now I will explain pollen grain structure. Pollen grain. What is the size of pollen grain? So pollen grain is, size of the pollen grain is 25 micrometers to 50 micrometers. Pollen grain size 25 micrometers to 50 micrometers. And the shape of the pollen grain, is round shape. Pollen grain shape is round shape. Okay, so then the pollen grain contains two walls. So walls in the pollen grain. So two walls present in the pollen grain. What is that wall? So outer wall is called exine. So the walls of the pollen grain is called sporoderm. So the walls of the pollen grain is also called sporoderm. Okay, so sporoderm are walls of the pollen grain. So outer wall of the pollen grain is called outer wall of the pollen grain. This is called exine. And another wall is present inside the pollen grain, that is called inner wall. So inner wall of the pollen grain, this is called intine. Exine and intine. Okay, so what is the characters of outer wall or exine? So it having a character, it is made by the hardest organic material on the earth, that is called, already we discussed in last class, did you remember? Sporopollenin. So what is the character of the sporopollenin? The sporopollenin is hardest organic material on the earth. Hardest organic material. On earth. Okay, so that is called hardest organic material present on the earth, that is called sporopollenin. So this sporopollenin is hardest organic material. It is not degraded by the enzymes. Not degraded by enzymes. Okay, and it having a resistance against temperature and acids. It having a resistance against temperature and acids. So sporopollenin, it is called outer wall of the pollen grain and it is called exine. It contains the hardest organic material on earth surface, that is called sporopollenin. So sporopollenin is a hardest organic material and it not degraded by the enzymes. So no enzyme can degrade the sporopollenin. And it is resistance, it having a resistance against temperature. So it can tolerate high temperatures, at the same time it can tolerate acids also, low pH values or acids. So this is the characters of the sporopollenin. So after this sporopollenin, the pollen grains having some properties because of the sporopollenin. So what is that properties? So first one is fossilization. So what is the meaning of fossilization? Already you studied this term, fossil formation. Fossilization or fossil. Like dinosaurs. When dinosaurs is present on the earth surface, that is millions of years back. Now also we know dinosaurs. How we know the dinosaurs? Because the skeletal system is present on skeletal system that is not degraded over the period of the time. So we can found that skeleton systems of the dinosaurs. So because of that dinosaurs skeletal system, we can know the information about the dinosaurs. Like that, the exine is the hardest organic material. So it is not degraded up to the long period. So because of that, the pollen grains remaining parts may be degraded except this sporopollenin. So the sporopollenin not degraded over the period of the time. So because of that, like 100 years back or thousands of years back, pollen grains also we can observe in the environment. So that pollen, that sporopollenin of different pollen grains, it is a raw material for the identification of or for the study of pollen grains in the past. Past means like thousands of years back or hundreds of years back. So with the help of that sporopollenin of different pollen grains, we can understand the structure, other characteristics of the pollen grains. Okay, so that process or that mechanism is called fossilization, fossil formation. So that is the first property of the sporopollenin. Okay, so and another one, this sporopollenin, with the help of this sporopollenin, already we discussed one point, that is Ubusch bodies. What is the function of Ubusch bodies? Yes, that is Ubusch bodies is important for the ornamentation of exine. Ubusch bodies is important for ornamentation of exine. Okay, what is the meaning of ornamentation? If you see different pollen grains, they have different shapes and the size. So suppose this is the one pollen grain, so round shape pollen grain, and some pollen grains having a spikes on their surface. Like suppose see this pollen grain, it having a spikes on the surface. Okay, so if you see some other pollen grains, it may chance to have a vowel structure. Okay, so all the three pollen grains have same shape and different shapes. So ornamentation on the outer surface of the all three pollen grains, that is pollen grain A and pollen grain B, pollen grain C. So three types of pollen grains have same ornamentation or different ornamentation. So ornamentation of exine is different in different pollen grains. So with the help of this ornamentation of the exine or sporopollenin on the outer surface of the pollen grain, we can classify the plants. So that is called taxonomical importance. So the sporopollenin is important for classification of the plants. We can easily classify the plants. We can easily classify the plants based on ornamentation of exine. Ornamentation of exine on the pollen grain because of sporopollenin. Okay, so this is the reason. So because of that, we can say this is the this pollen grains having a taxonomical importance. Okay, so the pollen grains having a sporopollenin, it having a taxonomical importance. So this is the second significance. Okay, so this is second point. So first point is fossilization and the second point is taxonomical importance. So with the help of this ornamentation of exine, we can classify the plants. So that is the taxonomical importance of this ornamentation of exine on the surface of pollen grains. So another property, that is where the sporopollenin is absent on the pollen grains, that particular area is called germ pores. So first point, what is the first point? So that is fossilization is the first point. Okay, so fossilization means fossil formation. So after thousands of years also we can study the pollen grains because of this sporopollenin. This sporopollenin present on the pollen grain, that is important for fossil formation in the pollen grain, that is called fossilization. So and another important point after fossilization, and another important point, that is taxonomical importance. Taxonomical importance. So taxonomical importance of the sporopollenin. So the sporopollenin arrangement is different in different pollen grains. Based on that we can classify the plants. And where the sporopollenin is absent, that particular area is called germ pore. Okay, so germ pore means where the sporopollenin is absent. Where the sporopollenin absent on pollen grain. Where the sporopollenin absent on the pollen grain, that is called germ pore. So how many germ pores is present? Monocots and dicots. Monocots and dicots. So how many germ pores is present on the monocots? So monocots contains one germ pore. Okay, and dicots contains two germ pores. Dicots contains three germ pores. Dicots contains three germ pores. So see here students, germ pore means where the sporopollenin is absent on the exine, that particular area is called germ pore. So monocot contains one germ pore. One hole is present on their surface, that is called one germ pore. Dicots contains three germ pores, means three holes present on the surface of the pollen grain. Okay, so this is about germ pore structure. What is the significance of this germ pores? So with the help of the germ pore only, the pollen grain germinate and it will produce as the pollen tube. The pollen tube is penetrated into the stigma of the plant. Okay, stigma of the female reproductive structure. Okay, so this is the significance of the germ pore. Suppose germ pore is completely absent, so there is no pollen germination. So pollen is not germinated on the stigma. Then what chance to happen? There is no pollen germination means there is no formation of pollen tube. Pollen tube is not formed. Then there is no migration of male gametes from pollen grain to the female reproductive structure, that is stigma. Stigma to the ovules. So suppose the male gametes fail to transfer from their from the pollen grain to the ovule, there is no fertilization. Fertilization is absent means there is no formation of the seeds. Seed formation is absent means there is no next generation. So germ pore is very, very important for the formation of the pollen tube. Okay, so this is the significance. Okay, so then I will explain intine. Okay, already I given information about that exine and intine. So exine means outer layer of the outer wall or outer layer of the pollen grain is called exine, and another one is called intine. So what is the meaning of intine? Intine means inner layer. Okay, so hexane already we discussed. Then we will discuss about intine. What is the meaning of intine? So intine means inner layer. So intine is made by the cellulose and pectin. Cellulose and pectin. So intine contains two materials. One is cellulose and another one is pectin. Okay, so that is the intine. So hexane is sporopollenin is present on the hexane and cellulose and pectin is present in the inside. Okay, so that is intine. Intine is made by the cellulose and pectin. So it is degradable only, not like hexane, it is degradable. Okay, and it not having any resistance to the high temperatures or acids also. That is the intine. So beneath the intine, what structure is present? So plasma membrane is present beneath the intine. So I will represent with the help of the diagram, easily you can understand. So see here, this red color layer is there. So this red color layer is called hexane. After this red color layer, another layer is present. So this green color layer. So this green color layer is called intine. Okay. So beneath this intine, another layer is present, that is blue color layer. So this blue color layer is called plasma membrane. Okay. So beneath the plasma membrane, cytoplasm is present. So I will label this layers. So outside layer is called hexane. It is made by sporopollenin. Next layer is called intine. It is made by cellulose and pectin. And beneath this, another layer is there, that is called plasma membrane. Okay. After plasma membrane, beneath this is called cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm, it contains nucleus and vacuole is also present in the pollen grain. So see structure here. So this is, we can say, the vacuole. Okay, and it contains nucleus also. This is nucleus. So this is the structure of the pollen grain. Okay, so then we will discuss about pollen allergy. So in next class, I will discuss about pollen allergy, pollen viability, and pollen is a supplement. Nowadays, so many persons using pollen grains as a food supplement, like tablet form or syrup form they are taking. So these points and development of the male gametophyte, that I will discuss in the next video. So if you like the video and if you have a clarity about the concepts, please share these videos to other persons or other students. They also can get benefit. And if you like the videos, please click the like button and share these videos to your friends and subscribe my channel. So thank you very much for watching my channel.